as soon as we see Deshaun Watson once again play well, especially in the second half this past week, in a comeback win over the Baltimore Ravens. News out today, he's done for the year. A broken bone in his shoulder that was sustained during the first half of this past weekend's game. And then he goes on to, 14 of 14 as they begin the second half and come back and win the game that sent them to 6-3 overall. Today the news comes out that he's done. Broken bone will send him, after an MRI, to injured reserve, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson is the starter for the Cleveland Browns now. 6-3, meeting up with the Pittsburgh Steelers, also with that record. And, Chad, this is, yet again, following the storyline of Deshaun Watson's tenure thus far with Cleveland. Gets the massive contract, fully guaranteed, and sits out based on the suspension last year, 11 weeks, comes back, doesn't do anything down the backstretch, and played well in Week 3, opted out after being cleared to play in Week 4 prior to the Baltimore game, continued to be on the injured list as more news came out on his injury, comes back, plays, not great in previous starts since the return, and then last week, excellent over the third and fourth quarter, and they get a huge win, trying to build momentum behind that great defense and what can be a solid quarterback. That's not going to be the case. It's par for the course and the same offseason storyline that we saw last year for the Cleveland Browns.
What a weird season also for Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. He has his best performance against the Titans in a win, a blowout win. Then he's hurt the next week, and he's out. And then, we think he's coming back, according to Kevin Stefanski. No, he's still out. He was available to play today, but he elected to be out. Well, what's going on there? No, we completely backed Deshaun Watson. He's back. He's back. He still sucks. Okay, great. So now he's really good again. He just had his best day as a Brown in a big win and come from behind fashion against the Ravens. And then, he's done for the year immediately after that performance. It's strange. Strange times in Cleveland, and here they sit, 6-3, a half game back in the division, right there in the mix for big things this year.
6th seed.
And now they're going to have to do it with P.J. Walker at quarterback?
No, it's not going to be P.J. Walker. It's going to be Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Wow. So Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to be the quarterback. How much would they want to have Josh Dobbs right now, who they traded to the Arizona Cardinals before the season?
They needed him last time this happened.
Yeah. And now Josh Dobbs is starring in Minnesota as they try to make the playoffs. So, again, it's just a very strange set of circumstances to get to the point where there's a lot to play for and a lot to be excited about this season with the Browns. But are you going to be able to hold on to your status without Deshaun Watson, even though Deshaun Watson wasn't all that good for the most part, except for a couple of games? It's a weird place to be in, Hutton. And then not just this season, now with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback, but what are the Browns moving forward? And is Deshaun Watson, can you call it? Is he already a bust? You can't give up on him, given what you've committed to him. I mean, all you can do is hope that he gets healthy and rehabs and comes back good next year. It's a strange place to be in. I feel like it's sort of this limbo right now for a Browns team that's got a dominant defense. I mean, you have a chance of wasting a dominating defense right now.
And an MVP caliber player in Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
It's not going to go to a defensive player or any player other than the quarterback. But
he's that important.
He has been unbelievable.
He's Aaron Donald at his best, Micah Parsons, true game wreckers, Khalil Mack. At a time, I'm thinking about guys that you would point to and say, you got to account for them on every snap, and they truly change games on defense. He's one of those guys this year, but I can't help but feel like they're wasting that defense right now, especially given the fact that Deshaun Watson's out for the remainder of the season.
And that defense kept them in the mix whenever Watson wasn't able to go over that 4-week stretch, which included their bye week. P.J. Walker came in. It was Dorian Thompson-Robinson that started whenever he couldn't play against Baltimore at home, Watson I'm talking about, in Week 4. And he completed barely 50% of his passes, I believe, in that game. They then go with the veteran in P.J. Walker, and since then to now, before Watson returned, Walker had 1 touchdown pass to 4 or 5 interceptions. Not good. They were winning despite P.J. Walker starting at quarterback, and they were beating some good teams. They beat the 49ers, for instance. Wasn't due to the quarterback play.
Right.
It was due to the defense. And can the defense alone keep them in the playoff mix based on where they are in the division they play in? I doubt it. Because there's a lot of games left, and they're in the best division in football. And that includes Pittsburgh, who's also right there record-wise, and they also hold some victories over opponents within the division. So here we go again with the Browns and all the offseason storyline. What would the storyline be, by the way, if Dobbs was the backup in Cleveland right now and was playing the way he's been playing since he was traded to Minnesota? Maybe even the way he played whenever he was traded to Arizona originally, because it would be better play than what we've seen from the backups to Watson, and then the discussion would be really about boom or bust and the fact you can't go to any hot hand because you're going to stick with Watson no matter what based on the money that was allocated to him.
I think it would be way down on Deshaun Watson would be the reaction in Cleveland, but with a mixture of optimism that the season's going to be fine because you got a quarterback who can do some things and you don't need everything because the defense can be everything for you. So this team is going to be okay. I don't think they had that sense right now with it. And you could hope for Deshaun Watson's eventual return to where at some point he's the quarterback. That's what's so odd about it, though, Hutton, is this is coming off a game where he was really good.
Right.
Now you show that flash again and you think, okay, now he looks like that guaranteed money, big-time contract quarterback. Maybe he's going to be that the rest of the way. Now he's out for the year.
And that's the optimism, yeah. And also,
there would have been optimism in this season with Dobbs playing this way at backup.
And there's optimism based on the way you see that offense generate points when Watson's at his best or headed towards that path. Stefanski said this injury occurred in the first half. And then he had the second half, because he was not good in the first half this past week. Second half, he came out and played well, very good with the hot hand. That's the surprising part. Now, the Browns fans, yet again, high hopes, detrimental results and news coming out of Cleveland based on the injury to Watson paired with that defense and what they could do and what they had ahead of them and where they were in the standings for the AFC North.
Well, and just, I mean, man, that defense, and they invested so heavily in Deshaun Watson when he was facing all those accusations. He goes on to basically not play for, 2 seasons or 2+ seasons? Because he came in with 5 games left last year. Did he miss the previous 2 seasons or a whole season before that?
He had not played since the 2020 season. The 2019-2020 season.
So, yeah, he missed 2 seasons and then most of a third. Came back in the next one. Terrible. Not great to start this year, but had 2 games where he flashed that old Deshaun Watson you could be excited about. And I just look and say, man, if they invested in so many other people, think of it, had a high draft pick at some point and could have drafted. I mean, it's just so many different routes they could have gone.
And the picks traded.
That would have been in a better spot to pair with this elite defense. That's what's unfortunate. It's not unfortunate to have an elite defense if you're a Browns fan. It's unfortunate that this is the pairing. This is like the worst wine and cheese combo pairing you could ever have. This fine Bordeaux that you have of a defense, and then you've got the worst government cheese that you can possibly have in the outlook at quarterback position. And it's not just having Deshaun Watson, who has mostly sucked. It's dedicating all of that money and all of that roster capital and salary cap space to Deshaun Watson. It's not like you're getting these performances and these injuries from a guy who's not costing you an arm and a leg.
Straight cash. Yeah.
Man, it's tough.